Thank you so much. So Love Yorkie writes, you radiate confidence, and that's such a beautiful thing. You have such a strong message for being comfortable with who you are. That's so important. So if I'm being honest, I have always been an outgoing person, but the confidence muscle, that is something that I've had to work. But I'm telling you what, for me, the confidence, I really came into my own, like authentically came into my own when I ditched the hair dye. Here's the truth. I am just like probably many other women out there, bought into the whole idea that, if you look a certain way, then you're lovable, then you're pretty. And so my story, my inner dialogue has always been, if you're pretty enough, you're young enough or thin enough, then you're loved, then you're lovable. And it's like chasing this lovable, the idea of being lovable. And it's an awful thing to have running in your head. And it ran in my head for years upon years, decades. And then menopause hits and it's like a freaking train wreck. I mean, everything just kind of goes sideways and you kind of question everything. That's a tough time. Like that was a tough time in my life. But at 49, almost 50, just a few days before or maybe a month before I turned 50 is when I let go of the hair dye. And I knew, and I've said this before, I knew that was going to be a renegotiation of everything I thought about beauty and about aging. So since I knew that, and for me, this is what I did. I attacked letting go of the gray hair as a big social experiment, if you will. In fact, I'd planned on writing a book about the experience. So I was open with it. I wanted to dig out every drop of the lessons that I could learn from that experience. And this is where the confidence comes in, because think about it. I know for me, I had total disdain for my gray roots. I scheduled my life around the gray roots. I'd wear a hat or I would cover them up. I mean, they would come. They would come like sometimes they wouldn't even cover up when you would put dye on them. But it would be, first it was 8 weeks, then it was every 6 weeks, then every 4 weeks, then every 3 weeks, every 2 weeks. And sometimes I'd leave the salon and they would still be popping through. So I knew I had to just come to grips with it. So that slow grow process allowed me to look in the mirror every day and get a little bit more comfortable. But what I didn't realize is the profound experience that really happened. It wasn't just the gray hair. Like that was just a side effect. This is where it gets good. It was this. That feeling of exhaling, that's what I started to feel. And what I realized is that for most of my life, I was holding my breath. And holding my breath, I'm not going off the reservation here. This is really important. Holding my breath, because that's almost that anxiety that comes with like not having the confidence that that always in your head about everything, about worrying about, especially when it comes to the aging process or what other people think, any of it. I feel like I was holding my breath all the time. And somewhere along maybe around 6 weeks in, 8 weeks in, I had this, wow, I feel a little more at peace. It was the strangest thing because I didn't expect it to happen. I didn't do anything in particular to turn it on, but it was the action. You know what it was? Oh my gosh, this is so good. This is so good. It was the action of letting go and allowing the process to happen without fighting it, because I've been fighting it to cover the dye for so long. When I settled in and with an open heart, my inner joy, my inner peace, my soul started saying, this is it. This is what we want. This is, you know what? This is what we're supposed to feel. We are supposed to feel at peace on the inside. And if I'm being honest, because I didn't have anything to compare it to until that moment happened, I didn't have a lot of inner peace going on in my life. Even though I thought I did, I meditated, I ate well, I did all the things. I did the yoga, I did all those things, but none of it even held a candle to that experience. Okay, I promised myself I was not gonna make this a long video, but you know what? I'm really passionate about this. I love, oh, this smells so good, the new Merit perfume. I love talking about this because women, anything I can do from my own experience to inspire others, I'm all about that. So I guess the moral of the story is that confidence can be found and cultivated in some of the least expected places. And the gray hair journey did that for me, because what happened is opened the door for so much more. So when I said, I'm just gonna try this, if I hate it, I can always color it back, I opened that door, and what happened is everything changed for the better in my life. And it's funny because I've had that happen one other time. When I changed my diet and lifestyle some years back, my whole world just got better because I was feeling better. When you show up and you feel better, then it just trickles into every other area of your life. So clearly, you don't have to ditch the hair dye to have confidence. That's not what I'm trying to say. But what I am trying to say is when you let go of things that no longer serve you, or we get stuck in a habit or in a situation or a relationship or anything that keeps us boxed in, we don't have an opportunity to even grow with that. But also, the gray hair, the aging, now I'm 55, the renegotiating that, yes, do I love to look my best? I want to look and feel my best. Do I want to be, 18 or 20? No. But do I want to look my best? Yes. And so for women, it's tricky. The confidence thing is tricky. But what I realize, confidence, some people are just born that way. And others, it's a muscle that you have to work. And some, it's just almost darn near impossible to kind of break free from that, from the dialogue to get to that point. But I think it's a little tricky. It's very tricky for when in regards to confidence and a woman as she ages, because there's such a stigma on the beauty aspect of it. Now, again, not that confidence has to have anything to do with that. People can be confident and it has nothing to do with beauty at all. But I think for women, it's a touch point. For me, confidence is such an invaluable thing for a woman. And what I found after we've unpacked this conversation, I realized that confidence really comes when you let go of what other people think. When you let go and when you are fearless enough to show up, even if you're, uncertain or a little afraid, to just show up and be yourself. That to me is confidence, and that is beautiful too. There is nothing more beautiful than a woman that is comfortable in her skin and comfortable enough to speak her truth. Here's what I really think. I think confidence is learning to be fearlessly yourself, even if it irritates or makes other people a little uncomfortable.